I did my interview and they were telling me that I would be a good candidate for Trellis. And I was like, okay, what is that? Going to school and being inside the classroom leading the class is a completely different experience.
I just got so anxious. I was like, oh my gosh, like if I don't do this well, am I failing my students?
Becoming an effective teacher takes time, and it takes the intentionality that Trellis offers.
And it's a craft. It's not something you just get right away. So I think it's better to do that collaboratively than to try to do that by yourself.
Why wouldn't we take this opportunity to get professional development and financial support and like all the things that Trellis provides?
Going back into college for an extra year, those student loans are naturally going to build up.
A lot of my colleagues who were in the credential program, they had to pull out a lot of loans, but it was nice that Trellis essentially paid for half my tuition.
I was an overachieving high school student who would applied to 0 scholarships. To get it a little bit later in life felt like a timely boost.
Having just that little extra money on the side is always really useful.
As a first-year teacher, I had an extra release period that Trellis paid for, so I was still being paid as a full-time teacher, but teaching 80%. I was teaching 4 out of 6 classes.
A lot of my colleagues, when they got into their first year of teaching, they didn't have Trellis to financially support them with the release period, and so they were teaching 150 kids.
And it was so huge to have that. Just to have that extra time, and I was able to use it for all sorts of different things, to meet with my mentor weekly and also have more prep time.
When things are tough in the classroom, new teachers are at a loss for how do I get better.
Having a professional that's gone through it, not only highly qualified, but knows content, knows how to manage it in that way and provide that sort of a model, it's extremely helpful.
What I hated when I was being coached as a new teacher was that people would tell you that you weren't doing something, but I would always look at them being like, can you do it? Can you actually do it? So I think the dynamic between the scholars and the mentors in Trellis is very different. I do have some friends not in Trellis, and I think that the biggest difference that I see is that they don't have as big of a support system.
So I felt bad for them. I felt like they were missing out on just more professional enrichment opportunities.
They might not know where to turn when they have a STEM question specifically for a STEM classroom. Having this wealth of resource is really essential, especially your first couple of years of teaching. The students that we're serving, especially in the schools that we work at, serve a lot of Black and Brown students, and so thinking about how we're framing it in a way that they can see themselves in those fields is really, really important.
I appreciate Trellis's constant focus on social justice and equity, and I'm part of other fellowship, professional development things, and no one takes a harder stance on STEM as an act of social justice as Trellis says, not even close.
That's rare. That is so rare that as a STEM teacher of color, you get a STEM mentor of color. In fact, I don't think where does that happen? That never happens. So that's huge.
As a trailblazer, of course, there are so many moments of self-doubt, and then stepping into a classroom and literally Latino boys coming up to me, shaking my hand, and just knowing the impact that literally my body and my phenotype have in a classroom setting.
Trellis provides a set of core practices which teachers then get to start trying on and practicing.
I think it's really interesting to have a teaching fellowship that really focuses on the STEM fields.
We really focus on specific things that normal teachers might not go in depth with.
You get to observe a lot and see models of what teaching should look like instead of trying to figure it out.
And then I think another thing too is just how comprehensive the evidence checklists are. The minutia, the nuances that appear in the classroom, and that not only from the teacher perspective, but also the student perspective.
It's just a way to really think about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, instead of just being distracted and just being told to be a good teacher somehow.
It seems like a long time, but it really isn't when you're teaching because it just flies right by.
You're really changing not only yourself as you learn to teach, but you're changing the students, and together you're becoming better at teaching and learning.
And you have to really, really like kids. That's the main thing. Really, really like STEM and really, really like kids, no matter what.